Welcome back. We just heard from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent moments ago on China's broken promises following the summit between President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping on October 30th. The secretary told us he is expecting China to keep its promises. Now, China claims it will aggressively crack down on the chemicals that are used to produce fentanyl, which is the current leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45. Joining me now, just back from his trip to Beijing, is the director of the FBI, Kash Patel. Director, thanks very much for being here. You went to China for 1 or 2 days. Tell us what you accomplished.
Hey, Maria, it's great to be with you. And look, we set this in motion, under President Trump's leadership and strong leadership in engaging in President Xi Jinping on the fentanyl crisis. Let's just put this in perspective. The prior administration, the Biden administration, allowed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Americans to be killed by opioids alone. That is a national security crisis of epic proportions that was left undressed. President Trump comes in, engages his counterpart, President Xi Jinping, and says, we got to address this. Puts Attorney General Pam Bondi in the DOJ in motion, sets up engagements over the last 8 to 9 months, and designates the FBI director to go there and make sure this deal is solidified. And that is the reason that I, as the first director in 10 years, landed in Beijing, China. This opioid crisis is going to be turned off. Americans are no longer going to lose their life to manufactured synthesis opioids like fentanyl.
Well, I mean, look, you knew the China threat very early on, way before you were the director of the FBI. Where else is China interfering? What do we need to understand best about our #1 adversary?
Well, look, we could talk about the espionage and other activities, but we have taken a huge step here. No one has bothered to engage China. The Biden administration didn't even do it. And fentanyl, for those, it's not like cocaine or marijuana where it starts naturally in a grow house or a grow facility or grow yards and then is produced into an ultimate chemical and drug. Fentanyl is purely chemically created. And if you take the ingredients, these precursors that we're talking about, these chemicals that we're talking about, and you shut off their flow, then the Mexican drug cartels cannot make it. It's that simple. And Biden could have listed 1 or 2 or 3 of the precursors. 0. Trump got it done, listing all 13 precursors and restricting all 7 chemicals, essentially shutting off the pipeline that allows the Mexican drug traffickers to create fentanyl. And we went there and we got the agreement solidified, and it's already in place. And we're going to see immediate results and immediate American lives saved by the hundreds of thousands, thanks to President Trump's brilliant leadership and Attorney General Bondi's care and commitment to this issue.
So you believe that the Chinese will keep their commitment here, and you think we will see an immediate impact then?
I do. We've already seen an immediate impact. And look, Maria, I don't think anyone has covered China better than you have. And I understand the skepticism. But I do also believe in President Trump's leadership to say, look, we have to engage with them and come to agreements where we can with them, especially if it saves American lives. Why wouldn't we? We're not going to get to 100% on 100%. But if we can save tens of thousands of American lives, then it was worth it. And I think we're already seeing those results. And at least on the fentanyl front, they have committed to this. They've kept their word on this. And we are saving American lives because of this once-in-a-lifetime historic engagement by President Trump with the Chinese.
Very, very important, meaning that you had. Thank you. We'll be watching that. I want to move on to a few other issues before you go. And, of course, we always talk about the last 10 years of conspiracy against President Trump. And it started with the Russia collusion, on to the indictments and the impeachments. And, of course, January 6th. Do you have any news for us on January 6th in your investigation?
I think you'll see something on that front very soon. As you know, we can't reveal our ongoing investigations. And as it goes for things like Russiagate, Maria, again, maybe no one better than you has covered it. And look, I lived it. I was weaponized as a victim against a weaponization, politicization of law enforcement, including at the FBI, by former senior leadership there. And I was the one that ran and uncovered the Russiagate hoax and conspiracy back on my House Intel days. I can't talk about ongoing investigations, but I think you've seen reporting in the media and reflections as to what's going on. We will not allow anyone who participated in the Russiagate conspiracy or those who improperly and illegally, in my opinion, spied on me, members of Congress, and even members of the media for a political end state to be left unturned. These are investigations that are of important consequence to the American public. Deputy Director Bongino and I have lived through it with you and everyone else. And we don't ask you to trust us, but look at the work we've put in under President Trump's leadership. We are going after every single person, from drug traffickers to those who create precursors to those, most importantly, who weaponize our system of law enforcement. You've already seen indictments of people like former Director James Comey and others, and we're not done.
Well, by the way, Comey is asking for all of the charges to be dropped right now, as you know. So the audience wants to know if we're ever going to see accountability, Director. And I know that there's a limited amount you can say about this with regard to what happens next. There was a criminal referral for John Brennan. Do you believe we will see accountability?
Yes, 100%. We are delivering this accountability. But I'd just like to remind the audience, and I think you know this better than anyone, they built this weaponization scheme over the course of a decade plus. In these first 8 months that we've been there, we've already charged individuals, thanks to this great Department of Justice, who are at the pinnacle of this weaponization of government. We've already turned over, by the way, Maria, James Comey turned over 3,000 documents to Congress for oversight. Christopher Wray turned over 13,000. This FBI, under our leadership, has turned over 38,000 pages of information to Congress for congressional oversight purposes, which is wed to accountability, which is wed to the referrals that they send us back that we activate at the FBI. Every single letter they send us that has a substantive referral is opened by this FBI.
Director, just to clarify, how many Americans were arrested regarding January 6th? I know many people spent jail time as a result of January 6th, and you've been doing a deep dive investigation into this. There's a lot of speculation online. We want to know who planted the pipe bomb. Is there anything you can tell us there? And how many people were arrested on January 6th?
Too many. Far too many, far too baselessly, as a result of a weaponization of justice and a politicization of targeting President Trump's supporters. It was unlawful and improper, and we've been working like we have with the Deputy Director to unearth that. And as it relates to major investigations of public importance like the pipe bomber, again, I say, stay tuned. We reviewed every single investigation of public consequence, reopened them, reevaluated them, because we feel it cannot go untouched. We are not going to let these things lay by and allow the fake news media to run roughshod over us. Our indictments speak powerfully in court. If you don't believe us, just look at the response that the Eastern District of Virginia under Lindsey Halligan did to James Comey, and look at the notes and publication of evidence. That's the type of material we have, but we have to safeguard our prosecutions, because the ultimate accountability is with the verdict in a jury room.
Understood. Director, good to have you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Maria.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.